So today I have the pleasure of chatting with photographer Anna Hardy. Anna is a Manchester-based portrait photographer who works with down-to-earth, adventurous families all across the Northwest and beyond. Her photography has been featured in print publications, including Harpers, Bazaar and Digital Photographer magazine. She's also a regular on the photography podcast circuit and speaks at photography industry events. In a previous life, she was a secondary school English teacher, but now with 17 years in the photography industry, she's known as one of the country's leading family photographers. Her days are filled working with families and kids brands. She also runs workshops and mentors photographers, and she's known for helping and developing them grow their businesses. In her own words, she's a food-obsessed, adventure-loving mum of two who loves diving out of planes for fun, exploring new places, and curling up with a good book. So Anna, thank you for being here today.
Thanks so much for having me. It's so nice to meet you. I've been subscribed to your newsletter for ages. And it's really nice to finally put like a face to a name, and it's really good. Well, yours is one of the few that I always.
Well, thank you
for
so
having
much.
me.
Likewise, I feel it's great that we're finally chatting because I'm very aware of what you've been doing as well. And I've heard nothing but good things about you from other photographers I
Aw.
know. So as in the nature of this interview series that I'm doing, it's all about finding out about how you market yourself as a photographer with the intention of helping anyone listening or watching find out some of the little insights and secrets maybe that have played a part in your success. I know, as I've mentioned in the intro there, you're a very successful photographer, and then you've also dipped into the mentoring side in the almost past decade or so. So you've been doing both things simultaneously. But how did it all start? You were a teacher, but how did you get to that point where you're like, right, I'm going to be a photographer now?
Yeah, kind of by accident, really. I was a secondary school teacher. I left to travel, but fully intending to come back to it. I had never taken any kind of pictures before at all, and I took a little point and shoot camera with me to India. And then my camera broke while I was in Nepal at the same time as a guy who I met in India. He had an SLR, a film SLR, and I'd been messing around with his and really enjoying taking some pictures. And then I got like a tax rebate came through at the same time as my camera broke, at the same time as being in Nepal where cameras were really cheap, at the same time as
Right.
finding this guy's camera. So it was just sort of a bit of a stars aligned. So I bought a film camera, traveled with that around, and this is I'm being very ancient here, but it was like sort of pre-digital, and I just got the photos developed as I went round. So I had loads of
Yeah.
prints in my backpack. It wasn't very
Oh, I
practical.
can totally relate. I'm as ancient as you then because I went traveling around the world for a year and it was all film. I remember
Yeah,
take either when I had some cash, getting them processed as I went, or otherwise just packaging them up and
yeah.
shipping them home again, and with a view to getting it
Oh.
all done when I got home. So I can completely relate.
Amazing. I'm so pleased. I'm not the only one. It's exciting as well because you're just using different labs on the go, and some of them are shocking and some of them are good. But yeah, I've got all the negatives, and yeah, they're really precious to me actually. And yeah, they were worth the extra backache, definitely
Yeah.
lugging them round. But yeah, so I got home, and then shortly after that, I got pregnant with my eldest, and so a combination of just the timing with the pregnancy, and I couldn't really go back into teaching, so I knew I was going to then be off. So I just got like a day job, just like an admin job, really, with the NHS, just to pay the bills while I figured out what I wanted to do. But I'd really got the photography bug at this point, and I was thinking I'd really like to start a business. And I knew that teaching would just leave no headspace or practical time for anything else. A day job will serve all purposes and help me build the business in the evenings and weekends. So I just did that. Well, yeah, because obviously you have loads of spare time when you've got a new
Yeah, loads.
I think I was like over ambitious maybe, but yeah, it so really it was that I kind of just built it while Joe, my eldest, who's now 19, when he
Right.
was a baby, and then went full time in 2007 when Joe was maybe 2. So it was honestly just because I think it was more that I just started taking loads of pictures of him as well. I think initially I meant to make a business out of it until I then had Joe and just was obsessively taking pictures of him. And then
Yes.
friends started saying, "Oh, you should do something with that. The photos are good." And then I thought, yeah, maybe I will.
Yeah, and actually that's so relatable to so many mums out there. And I know so many
So
photographers also
many.
start that way, that you become
Yeah.
obsessed with your own child, and
Yeah.
that can lead, if you want to go down that route, to a photography career.
I think so many women in particular, I think, feel like they're not creative and they've maybe had a career, and having children, it makes them reassess like what they want. Maybe their career that they had before doesn't feel aligned with then having a family. They want to change that. And also, I think, you know what it's like when you have a baby, you sort of lose that identity a bit, don't you? Because you just become mum and you're
Oh,
feeding,
yes.
not feeding. Yeah. So I think it's a time of metamorphosis, I think, for a lot of women, particularly. And they often, a lot of the photographers I know, like me, came to it after having children and wanting a change of direction and wanting to find their own creativity and identity again.
Brilliant. So you taught English, but marketing is so key, isn't it? So it's
Yeah.
not just the picking up a camera and having that passion for taking portraits of what was initially your child and then went on to other clients. It's actually promoting and marketing yourself. So, I mean, did you have any marketing background at all? Or is that more, again, just something you've picked up along the way and you found things that work for you?
Yeah, definitely. And I hope this is reassuring to anyone who feels like a bit lost at sea with marketing. I will have no marketing experience in terms of before I was a photographer. And I was horrendous at marketing and really feared it. Honestly, I would say I was just really fortunate about with the time that I started being a photographer, because at
Hmm.
the time there weren't that many documentary style photographers. Again, I'm making myself, it's already ancient here, but there also weren't that many female photographers. So just by virtue of being
Yeah.
female and not shooting in a formal style, I found that I was probably able to get a lot more business without marketing myself so much at
Hmm.
that time. And then I know a few other female documentary photographers who started around the same time. We all found the same. It was like our businesses did really well to begin with because just by virtue of this natural difference.
Yeah, it was new and unique.
Yeah, but then as social media became more prevalent and as quite rightly so, more women came into the industry and more people started shooting in documentary style, it just didn't cut it anymore to not market. And so a lot of
Mm.
us who found that we were just getting these bookings without really doing much to begin with, it was quite a rude awakening because it's like, oh, we actually have
Yes.
to market ourselves. And that definitely happened at least 10 years ago, and now it's just like you say, it's crucial. You can't not do it.
Yeah, that's
Um,
so interesting, and that's very relatable to another photographer interview that I've got in
mm,
this series. Because David Lloyd, a wildlife photographer I've interviewed,
right.
he was benefiting from when Instagram wasn't as it is today, and he was
Yeah.
getting like 1,000 followers a day at times, purely from just doing what he did, which was post photos, and the
Yeah.
audience found him, and then he was able to amass a huge audience. And it feels you're saying something similar, that the conditions of the industry were so much different then, even we're talking just 8, 10 years ago, to what they are today, and so therefore it is far more challenging for everyone out there now.
Definitely. And 10 years ago, it's like, okay, Anna, you really need to get your head out of the sand with this now and just get to grips with it. And I was one of these who was like, oh, I hate marketing. I really did loads of work on learning marketing. And you still have like mindset. Everyone has mindset issues around marketing, whether that's money mindset or visibility or whatever it is that kind of pushes your own particular buttons. But it really is not as complicated, not as difficult, not as scary. And I think it's just finding ways that feel right for you and that work and that are effective. And then
Mm.
sticking with those, you don't have to do every kind of marketing. Like I hate social media. I have an Instagram account that I attend to very sporadically, but it's just the icing on the cake. I do use it sometimes, but
Yes,
say,
I noticed you had a bit of a gap with it, didn't you? Because you
yeah,
posted saying I haven't posted since March. So you're not actually that consistent with it,
yeah,
which in itself is interesting.
yeah,
You're not seeing it as a key piece of
no,
the pie sort of thing. It's just nice to have. And almost, I think what photographers often say to me is you just have to do it to be seen to be active and still,
yeah.
working in your business.
I do use it, but if I got shadow banned or hacked, it wouldn't be the end of my business. It's very much the cherry on top. It's not what I
Yeah.
rely on. It's not my focus with my marketing at all because I just don't enjoy being on it.
Yeah, again, very relatable. And actually, I don't provide social media services because, I mean, I used to, but it's just not my passion. And I don't actually endorse that view that you should be on there all the time,
Yeah.
creating reels and chasing the algorithm. You should be working on much more sustainable, kind of long term, in my case, SEO and content and PR. But tell us about
Yeah.
what you would choose. What's your way of marketing your business that works for you then outside of social media?
Yeah, I'm total agreement with you. I think that focusing on social media, as well as being exhausting, even if you manage to do it, it's just constant shifting sands. The
Yeah.
rules change all the time. It's so unpredictable. So yeah, I, like you, prefer to focus on things that I feel are future proofed and that I'm completely in control of. So my main one that I really love doing, actually, I never thought I'd say that about marketing, because but I always thought it'd be like a necessary evil that I had to tolerate, is my mailing list. And I really love writing for my mailing list. I love writing anyway. I don't enjoy being on video. I don't enjoy various other things, but I do really love writing. So I've kind of lent into that. So my blog and my mailing list, where I can write more long form content,
Yeah.
that's what I prefer, and then I can repurpose that for other things. So my mailing list, I'm sort of religious with. I send an email every Friday to all of my mailing list. I segment into families and photographers, because like you said before, because
Makes sense.
so some people are in both, not the same list, but different segments. But everyone, whether they're photographer or family, gets, I call it my Friday Five, which is a newsletter where I share 5 things that I've enjoyed that week. And it's nothing to do with work. It's just, food, days out,
I
book.
like that idea. Hmm.
Yeah, and I think it's good because it helps people to get to know you. But all that marketing is really, isn't it? Is like helping people to feel that affinity with you, to get to know, like, and trust you, and feel like, oh, this is my kind of person. This is the kind of person I want to work with. And it really is good and it helps to magnetize, like, my ideal clients like food and books and things like that as well. So it's a
Yes.
connect with them. It's a way to show your voice as well. You can get your personality across more. And I guess they're all kind of sales in that I have a PS, this is my availability, and download my brochure. So it's there, but it doesn't feel salesy. It's
Yeah.
just a regular weekly update that hopefully provides value and recommendations and entertainment, but then softly sells what I'm selling as well. And
Yeah, that sounds perfect. And I think from looking at your website and seeing some of your social content stuff, the voice that you talked about there really comes across, and
oh, thanks.
it just sounds really fun. You sound fun, and the images are fun, and you capture all of the, I think you say, magic moments, and you're capturing the magic of everyday life that we as parents, when it's our child, might think, oh, it's all mundane, but you manage to find, that awesome little
Oh,
moment that create, and that really comes across. I think your tone of voice and your copy and everything is really, really, like you said, magnetic. And I love that idea that you're doing sort of more personality led
yeah.
content, because that is important. And I think you're totally right. You need to still get your sales
Mm,
promotions, because I think a common pitfall with content creation in general is that you almost do too much of one thing, almost,
yeah.
and then forget that, oh, I'm actually running a business here and I need clients. So you do need to
Yeah.
sell, of course. But I love that. I love that personality based approach. And that's obviously working for you. It's brilliant
Thank
that
you.
you've kept that up as well, because once a week is pretty tough as a
Yeah.
as a schedule to keep up with when you're busy.
It is. I try not to do them on a Friday. I try and do it on a Thursday evening. So I've got that full
Yeah.
week's worth of stuff has happened. But yeah, it is current. I do it on a Thursday, or often if I haven't managed to do it on the Thursday, it's written and sent out on the Friday that it goes out. And there's been a few times it's been like 4 p.m. on a Friday, 5 p.m. and I'm like, send, and right,
Yeah.
I'll relax. So, but
But
it,
hats off to you, you've kept up with it. And I think you wouldn't be alone there creating content at the last minute. I sometimes work on
yeah,
my newsletters and things on the same day. I tend to even just send it out within half an hour of completing it. I always delay it, so I don't ever hit like send straight away, because I don't know if you find this, but when you walk away, maybe make a cup of tea or something, come back and read it with slightly fresher eyes, you might spot
definitely.
something or have said something in a different way. Dearly. So yeah, that's another tip on the email marketing side, is always delay it by a certain time
Yeah.
frame. But yeah, last minute content creation is the reality, isn't it, for many people?
Yeah, and I think although it's kind of hassly in that respect, it's paid off so much in the every time one goes out, I get a little flurry of brochure downloads. Every
Yeah,
time one goes out, I often get a reply saying, "Oh, I really enjoy these," or and I
brilliant.
it's worth it. It's definitely something that from a business point of view, I feel that it really pays off. And just from a personal point of view, I genuinely do actually enjoy writing them. And I think that you're not going to be consistent with something, which goes back to like what we were saying about social media. If you don't enjoy it,
Yeah.
you won't, because it's not easy to be consistent with things. You're basically just fighting a losing battle if you're trying to be consistent with something that you don't enjoy. So
Mm.
do yourself a favor and make the thing that you've got to be consistent at something that you actually enjoy doing. Even then, it's going to be a pain sometimes, but yeah.
Yes, consistency is really hard. And I've fallen off the wagon so many times with my blog routine or my newsletters for definite. But like you hopped back onto Instagram, there's no shame in missing a day, a
No.
week, a month. So equally, I think nowadays consistency is really important, but it
Mm.
not to the point where the world is going to end if you don't continue. Because I think
Yeah.
as you creating all this amazing content, hopefully it's leading to inquiries and sales. And then of
Yeah.
course you're busier behind the scenes. So unless you've actually got a team behind you helping, it's just another thing on the to-do list, isn't it, in that busy phase? How's your business structured? Is it literally just you, and have you got any support at all in the business?
So it's largely just me. I have a brilliant accountant. I just love her. She's helped me feel a lot more in control of the business because numbers isn't my strong point. Well, I'm all right with numbers, but like finance, it's definitely not my area of expertise. So I have her, but also in the last 2 or 3 years, mainly since I've been doing the education work, I do have a VA, a virtual assistant, Carry On,
Yeah.
who is brilliant. She actually lives in Spain and she does a lot, she takes a lot of the admin tasks off me. I maybe wouldn't have needed a VA necessarily if I was just doing photography, but in terms of outsourcing whatever you can, because it's like the more you have to work on admin and client work, the less
Mm.
time you have for marketing and growing your business. So whether
Yeah.
that looks like outsourcing your accounts to an accountant or outsourcing your editing to AI or a human editor or whatever it is. And even there's definitely things that I think photographers can use a VA for, and certainly like repurposing content. Like I got her to transcribe content that I'd already created and then make it into snippets and things like that. So definitely photographers could do that. And you might feel like you've not got the money in the business to do that, but it gives you the time to earn more money in the business.
Yeah.
So it can be a bit of one of those sort of chicken and egg situations. And I really resisted it for ages, but actually it enables me to focus on growth tasks much more than
Mm.
sort of operational stuff.
Yeah, that fear of, oh, can I afford this person? And I know people, if they work with me, there's always potentially that element of resistance. Oh God, what, A, if it doesn't pay off, but B, can I actually maintain the fee level, etc. But I think yeah, you do ultimately need to just make a leap of faith, and hopefully with any VA or whoever it is that you
Yeah.
outsource to, you're not committed long term. You kind of take it steady, and then you can opt out if you need to. But I think, like you said, very much so that it frees up your time to do more income generating tasks, hopefully. And so
Yeah.
that investment into an additional service means that if you just maybe do one more session a week or something, it covers the fee. And presumably that takes the weight off you in terms of the pressure and the internal kind of mindset pressures of running the
Yeah.
business and trying to juggle all the things, because you have got essentially two different businesses here that you're running, haven't you?
Yeah, that's it. And I mean, one thing that she really helped with, which is directly linked to marketing and SEO that we were talking about, is actually send a second email each week as well, which is just for
Right.
photographers, which is Tuesday tips. So it's just like a free tip on a Tuesday, just something
Nice.
to do with photography. So in the interest of repurposing, because I want content on my blog that's SEO'd, but I also want content for my mailing list.
Mm.
So what I would do is create it for my mailing list, and I try to hold myself accountable by calling it Tuesday tips and Friday advice. So
Yeah.
it's like you have to do this on a Tuesday. So I create it for my mailing list, but then I would then send that email to Carrie Ann and ask her to put it into a blog post and SEO.
Yeah.
So the writing I don't want to outsource because I want that to be me, but
Yes.
actually copying and pasting stuff over and formatting and all the rest of it doesn't have to be me. So
Yeah.
the blog posts that are SEO then obviously bring more traffic in. So that's something that I've really found her useful for to take that off me is that's building my blog and SEO, which is alongside the mailing list. The blog and SEO and mailing list are the two biggies, really.
Yeah.
Well, two of the three biggies. I'd say the third one is like personal connection and collaboration, which
You wouldn't have a business without. And I say that to photographers as well, because for all the amount of times that I go on about content, and it's music to my ears, to be honest. It's what, I'm always telling photographers to do is repurpose what you've got, don't make it harder for yourself. And you've just described the process that I also do with clients. Like, they might have an archive of social media content, for example, but actually if Instagram closed down tomorrow, they haven't got a record of it. So I very much help clients to repurpose that, and as you say, reformat into longer form blogs and make things SEO'd so that they are benefiting from it as well, in terms of traffic from organic means. But yeah, it's so important to do that, because otherwise you're just spinning plates, and just no wonder you fall off the wagon with things, particularly if you aren't in love with doing these kind of tasks anyway. I think what you're describing though is a passion for writing, which again a lot of them unfortunately have. So what would your advice be if someone doesn't love the writing side? I think you and I share that love of writing, but it is tricky, isn't it? If people don't, they just genuinely want to pick up a camera and do the work they love, which is the photography. What would you say to someone like that? Have you mentored anyone who was really resistant to the marketing side?
Yeah, I would say like most people, like resistant to the marketing side. It's so common, and I mean that not as a criticism, but as reassurance. And I'm well aware that I'm lucky to enjoy that, and not everybody does. So practical tips if you are struggling to write things is, I think, number one, people don't need it to be perfect. They want it to be relatable. So it doesn't matter if there are spelling mistakes or the grammar isn't right. People don't really care about that. So I think that trying to release that feeling of having to create perfect content. But two tools that I often advise people to use if they want to create some content is to either use free writing, which is kind of where you just like set a timer for say 20 minutes and you just have to keep writing with a paper and pen, like brain dump all your ideas. It doesn't have to make sense. It will be gobbledygook. But then from that, you'll have some little nuggets that you can then build on. Or the other thing is to just talk about the topic and then transcribe it, use something like Otter. And that can help people as well who feel like they often go into like formal business speak when they start to write.
It's what we were taught at school, isn't it?
Yeah.
That formal style of writing was drilled in, wasn't it? And getting the grammar right, getting everything perfect.
Definitely. That fear of error, I think, holds so many people back. And I would say, like, find the thing that feels most comfortable to you. So actually, for some people, they might be more comfortable making a little video about something, or they might be more comfortable just recording their voice. And then you can transcribe that. Or you might feel more comfortable writing about something that's just more practical. So say, for example, you're like really into gardening or cooking or your ideal clients will probably resonate. That will still be useful to them. It doesn't necessarily have to even be about photography, and that will help to differentiate you. So maybe just start creating content about something that you find interesting in a format that you feel that you don't hate, the one that you feel most comfortable with, and just start creating some content with that. And then you can build on that and repurpose it. Create a for now system, and then bullet point a gold standard system that you want to work towards. And then you can just gradually get there. I think sometimes people feel paralyzed because they think, well, this is what I should be doing, the gold standard thing. And the jump is so big from where they are to that they just don't do it because it's too intimidating. So think like, what could I do now that feels doable, achievable, even if that's just once a month, and then build on that and just start taking steps towards it. And like anything, once you start doing it and start putting one foot in front of another, you'll get into your groove with it. You can build on it. You don't have to do everything now, but just start making little steps in that direction.
Yeah, I think that's such sound advice. And I believe that too. Ultimately, have a vision for where you want to be, I think is important. So you know where you're trying to get to, as you've said, and then just do something. And actually, I say this quite a lot, that marketing is really just an experiment, because the market conditions change constantly. The social media algorithms change, what the benchmarks change. So actually what might have worked 5 years ago or 10 years ago, as we've said at the start of this chat, is not going to work today. The people who are doing marketing that seems to work have just had the bottle to actually try something new or to just keep going much of the time. And we all experience imposter syndrome and fear whether what we're doing is the right thing, but actually having the bottle to do it, I think, is key, isn't it? And just try new things.
Definitely. I agree with you completely. I think approach it with a spirit of experimentation and curiosity rather than getting it right. Like you say, there is no getting it right. I've done some marketing campaigns that the first time I've done them, it's just crickets, it doesn't work. And then I've maybe just done the exact same thing a few months later and it really works, and vice versa. And sometimes you don't always know why things work or why they don't, but you just have to kind of go, okay, never mind, that was disappointing. We all do marketing that falls flat. It
happens to everyone. And I think what can work for one person doesn't necessarily translate for another. So that's hence the reason why it's not advisable to just copy someone else's approach or their content style or what they seem to be doing, because actually you don't know what's going on behind the scenes. You don't know if they've got a team of people that are churning out all this content, and then you're stressing yourself out trying to replicate or keep up with the same level of momentum. It's so important to have that kind of just, right, this is what I, like you've said, this is what I like doing, this is what I can feel comfortable doing, and this is what I can probably stick to. Whilst at the same time, obviously, we're both saying really you should push your creative boundaries and try and do things that push you out of your comfort zone as well. Because I think when I see photographers just doing the same old and then wondering why it's not working and not trying new strategies as well, I think is really key. Moving with the times is really important. And there are so many people in this industry who have been in it for decades, multiple decades. And I think it's a hard lesson to learn that what you used to do does no longer cut it. So it's hard, isn't it, in business to keep fresh, but it's really important, as you've said.
Yeah, definitely. And I think what you just said is really key. And I think one of the biggest business lessons I've learned over the years was, for years, I was frustrated of why don't I feel okay about marketing, or I want to not feel scared about it. And what I've realized now is it's like if you wait for a time when you feel confident and that fear or trepidation goes, like it just probably won't. And you've got to just get comfortable with feeling uncomfortable and thinking, I don't feel completely comfortable doing this, but I'm just going to give it a go anyway. And that confidence comes from action, not the other way around. I think often you wait to feel confident to take the action, but it just doesn't really happen. And sometimes you have to take the action whilst not feeling confident to build the confidence. And so a lot of it is just accept that whilst you might look at other photographers and think, oh, they're so confident writing there for their mailing list or creating blogs or posting on social media, they probably aren't really feeling confident when they do it, but they're just doing it anyway. And
we're our own worst critics, aren't we? So I think it is very easy to criticize ourselves and what our output is and think it's not good enough. In that regards to your press coverage, I'm interested in, obviously you've spoken on podcasts and you've developed a name for yourself in the industry naturally through what you're doing. But can you tell us a little bit more, because I'm interested in press and PR, how your press coverage has come about over the years? Is that pushing yourself to approach editors proactively, or how have your features and things been developed into actual articles, and what's that done for your business?
So I've been fortunate in that a lot of them I've been approached. However, I think they found out about it because I'd put stuff out there. Exactly. So it's very much a kind of, although I had a lot of the time people have asked me, could I use this article, or do you want to? It's not come from me just sitting at home hoping that someone will knock on my door. Like, I put the content out.
Absolutely.
I try and meet people. It's forging those relationships with other people in the industry and chatting to people and just trying to build genuine connections and create genuine content. That said, it's very much on my my never-ending to-do list. It's something I really want to lean into more, because approaching people is massively out of my comfort zone. Pitching for things, that's really out of my comfort zone. And pitching for stuff, I'm happy saying yes to things when people approach me, but pitching it makes me go, oh. So I've really forced myself to do it. It so pays off. PR, well, I don't need to tell you this, but it's massive, because I think what I've learned with marketing is a huge amount of it is all about the size of your audience. You could have like the best product, be the best photographer with the best brand and the best photos. But if no one knows about you, like only a certain amount of your audience is going to inquire, only a certain proportion of them are going to book. So if you've got a small audience and you're just constantly posting to like the same 5 friends, you're just not going to get the bookings. It's not that you're not good enough. Your audience isn't big enough.
Yeah.
And building your audience can be a really hard, painstaking thing to do organically. And actually using other people's audiences is the best way to get introduced to a lot of people. It also builds that trust. It's like being introduced by a friend at a party. If you walk into a party on your own and go, "Hi, I'm Anna, I'm really great." Come and
Everyone's like,
see me. And look at that. Whereas if it's like, "Oh, this is my friend Anna, she's really nice, let me introduce," then people are
completely.
more open to trusting you and connecting with you. So anything where you can be like featured on someone's blog or talk, it gives you credibility, it builds an audience. You're
Yeah.
in front of a load of people you wouldn't have been able to reach otherwise. It's definitely an aspect of marketing that I really want to lean into more moving forwards, and that I'm trying to build confidence with around pitching for sure.
Yeah. Oh, well, interesting. Maybe we should have a chat. But
Yeah.
everything you've said there is, yeah, exactly what, couldn't have said it better. It's the authority building, it's expertise being naturally conveyed through content rather than an advert just trying to pitch to people. And yeah, you just build that trust and awareness and all the good stuff. So yeah, I'm super passionate about that, obviously. But fantastic tips for getting involved in that and growing your audience. That is so important, as you
Yeah.
say, and it does all of that. So yeah, really sound advice there. You've shared so many practical tips, actually, really interesting things, and I'm sure anyone listening and watching is going to find this so valuable. So thank you so much. Before we wrap up, is there anything you're working on at the moment, or what you're doing behind the scenes that you want to share with us?
I'm actually in the middle of a beta group at the moment. I've created a new program called The Greenhouse, which is for family photographers wanting to make a consistent full-time income, basically. And so it's a group program, and we're halfway through the beta. So I've had a little group of 10 beta testers who are currently doing it. So I'm really excited about that. And it feels like it's the culmination. I've done lots of different things, and this feels like the sweet spot of all. Yeah, it feels really good. So I'm just in the middle of finishing off the content for that. I want to make sure it's right. I'm getting lots of feedback from the beta testers,
Yeah.
and hopefully we'll then launch that in the new year. So that's mainly what I'm working on at the moment. But I also just want to re overhaul my family system. So that obviously the green has been like the education side, but as a photographer,
Yes.
I'm definitely at the point where I've not updated my brochure in a while. I've not my systems. So the things that I send out, I feel like it needs a bit of a
Yeah.
zhuzh, for want of a better word.
Yeah, well, it needs doing every now and then, doesn't it? And
Yeah.
how busy are you at the moment? I mean, have you got any quiet time coming up? I mean, start of the year perhaps is an ideal time. When is it ever
Yeah.
quiet enough to focus on these things? It's difficult, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. And no, it is typically a quietish time. It's actually quieter than usual. Usually the run up to Christmas with photography is very busy. It's busy enough, but I think this year it seems quiet.
I've heard
But
that as well, so you're not alone
have
with that.
you?
And I think
Yeah.
that will comfort some people who might be scratching their heads wondering why the diary's not filling.
Oh, good. Yeah, it's definitely quieter for me this year than it would normally be. Yeah, it's tough, but I'm trying to get some irons in the fire for the new year. If you've got a quiet season, it can be a way of actually, rather than sitting there doing nothing, thinking, how can I rise booking during these quiet times? So yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of what I'm working on, a bit of an overhaul, new program, tart up my family system a little bit and just a little update, I think. Yeah.
Yeah,
Never
good luck with all
ending.
of that and with the
Thank
remainder of the
you.
beta program. And obviously, everybody can check out your website, which I'll share the link in the show notes and also in the blog that's going to accompany this. But thank you so much, Anna, for sharing all of that and for all your wise advice. It's been wonderful to chat with you.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It's been really nice, really lovely to chat, and yeah, to finally put a face to the name, all the
Yeah,
wisdom that
likewise.
I've been getting in my inbox for ages. So yeah,
Fab.
really nice. Thank you
Well,
for having me.
not a problem. Thank you so much.